Once, my father came home and found me in front of a roaring fire. That made my father very mad, as we didn't have a fireplace. Victor Borge. First, the doctor told me the good news. He said that I was going to have a disease named after me, Steve Martin. Never keep up with the Joneses. Drag them down to your level. It's cheaper. Quentin Crisp. Always forgive your enemies. Nothing annoys them so much. Oscar Wilde. In Denver, the members of a Sunday school class were asked to set down their favorite biblical truths. One youngster laboriously printed, "Do one to others as others do one to you." Lee Olson, The Denver Post. One of the oddities of Wall Street is that it is the dealer and not the customer who is called broker. Dallas News. I wish I had enough money to buy an elephant, a woman told her husband. What on earth do you need an elephant for? He asked. I don't, she replied. I just need the money. Sam Levinson. It seems I have spent a lifetime of mouthing mechanically. Say thank you. Sit up straight. Use your napkin. Close your mouth when you chew. Don't lean back in your chair. Just when I finally got my husband squared away, the kids came along. Irma Bombeck. My mom died when we couldn't remember her blood type. The last thing she said was, be positive. But it's hard without her. I wondered why the baseball kept getting bigger. Then it hit me. While digging in the garden, I found a chest full of gold coins. Wanted to tell my wife about it, but then I remembered why I was digging in our garden. Today at the bank, an old lady asked me to help check her balance, so I pushed her over. I child-proofed my house. Somehow they still got in. Cremation. My final hope for a smoking hot body. Before my friend Frank died, he asked that I store his ashes in his favorite beer mug. His last wish was to be Frankenstein. A man walks into an enchanted forest and tries to cut down a talking tree. You can't cut me down, the tree exclaims. I'm a talking tree. The man responds, you may be a talking tree, but you will dialogue. Today I asked my phone, Siri, why am I still single? It activated the front-facing camera. Even people who are good for nothing have the capacity to bring a smile to your face, like when you push them down the stairs. My husband and I have reached the difficult decision that we do not want children. If anybody does, please just send me your contact details and we can drop them off tomorrow. The most corrupt CEOs are the ones who run pretzel companies. They're always so twisted. You're not completely useless. You can always be used as a bad example. Never break someone's heart. They only have one of those. Break their bones instead. They have 206 of them. My grandma has the heart of a lion and a lifetime ban from the zoo. After the man who created the hokey pokey died, it took a while to get the body in the casket. They put his right foot in. They took his right foot out. When I told my date I worked with animals, she found it really sweet and asked more about my job. So I told her I'm a butcher. They say the surest way to a man's heart is through the stomach. But I find going through the rib cage a lot easier. Why is it that if you donate a kidney, people love you, but when you donate 5 kidneys, they call the police? 2 cows were standing in a field. Have you heard that mad cow disease is going around? Asked the first. Yeah, the other cow replied. Makes me glad I'm a penguin. At a party, a woman admonished her husband, saying, that's the 4th time you've gone back for ice cream and cake. Doesn't it embarrass you? He shrugged and answered, why should it? I keep telling them it's for you. Your mother has been with us for 20 years, said John. Isn't it time she got a place of her own? Helen's brow furrowed and she replied, I thought she was your mother. I'd like a bottle of wine, a woman told her waiter. What year, ma'am? The waiter replied. She huffed and said, well, I'd like it right now. Yesterday I couldn't figure out whether someone was waving at me or the person behind me. In other news, I lost my lifeguarding job. A bear walks into a bar and says, can I have a Coke? The bartender asks, what's with the big paws? The bear replies, I don't know. I was born with them. My son had to give up his career because of fallen arches, said a man to his friend. He's an athlete? The friend asked. The man shook his head and replied, an architect. A man dining at a seafood restaurant asked for a lobster tail. The waitress smiled sweetly and said, once upon a time there was this lobster. Give a man a fish, and he will eat for a day. Teach a man to fish, and he will sit in a boat and drink beer all day. A man went to see his doctor, and the doctor said, I have some bad news and some worse news. The man asked for the bad news first, and the doctor replied, "You have only 24 hours to live." Gutted, the man said, "That's terrible. Wait a minute. What's the worst news?" The doctor responded, "I should have told you yesterday.